We are Richard and Courtney Lacey, owners of Simple by Lacey. We are creating a healing center in the heart of the Smoky Mountains. Travel down to Tennessee with us as we start our journey with transporting my mother's tiny home bus, getting our address, and exploring our land.
Okay, I am moving it out of here. I have to go across the tracks to the trailer because some guy parked really tightly right over here. So, sending it. That's what you deal with. That's not going anywhere.
So it is 3 o'clock in the morning, like 3:30 in the morning. We are getting ready. We're packing up. Everything is packed up, coolers ready, snacks are ready, blankets are ready, and we are heading down to Tennessee to check out our land, and we're bringing you guys on our journey. Let's go. So we are on our trip. We are in Pennsylvania right now. I think it's like 7:30 and we've been on the road since 4 a.m. We got Miss Abigail in the back. She's pretty bored. There's the bus in all its glory being pulled, my mom's tiny home bus. Everything is going good so far. It just started snowing. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's snowing, but it is going good, and we have probably like 9 hours left to drive over like 600 miles, so we'll be here for a while. We're just getting gas, and we will come back in and tell you more of our trip in a little bit.
So far, so good. I checked everything out in there. Nothing really moved around besides like the TV on the pivot. It came out. That's about it.
Time to get some Cracker Barrel.
After 16 long hours, we finally made it. It took 16 hours to get Scout, our tiny home bus, here.
and it was finally time to back it off with a flatbed and drive it onto our land. We had a few things to do first to make that happen though. To start, we had to remove the ratchet straps off the ramps and lower the ramps to the ground. The second step was removing the chains and the bindings from the axles of the bus that attached it to the frame of the trailer. There are 4 in total, 2 in the front and 2 in the rear. This is what made it safe for the bus to travel on the flatbed. Here, Richard is explaining there are different points of the bus that are low clearance and will be problem areas to look out for while we back it up. We used wood to extend the ramps due to this low clearance to help lift the bus and get it over the different bends of the flatbed. Lastly, we had to clear the windshield of the ice and snow from the storm the day before and turn on the bus. While backing it off of the flatbed, the framing of the stairs, as Richard predicted, hit the metal part of the dovetail of the trailer. That is the downward sloping part of the flatbed, and it ended up preventing the bus from being able to back up. Our solution was to manually lift the frame while Richard continued to back up and use the wood for the added height to be able to get the bus over the metal piece and onto the ground safely. Hey everyone, we are on our land and we're going to give a quick tour of our property. This is our driveway where you will enter our property, and the first thing you will see is our giant walnut tree. Currently it is being covered by vines, but we will clean it up, and in the springtime it will look grand and beautiful. Here is Scout again. We're going to keep him by the driveway for the winter. Once we start building our foundations, we will move it up the hill into its permanent home. We have 2 acres of rolling hills. Our land is shaped like an extended triangle. The hill curves to the far side, which you cannot see from this lower level. I'm going to go up the hill and show you the view up top and the curved portion of our land that leads to the opening of our woods. And here's our crazy girl Abby. She will make appearances throughout all of our videos. We are now on top of our hill, and we are facing the Cherokee National Forest. Richard is making his way up the hill from where I just was. The mountains connect from our front view all the way to the right side of our property. Once we have our cabin and deck in place, we'll be able to see the full span of the mountain range. Over to the left is where our property curves upward and leads to the opening of our woods. Here is the left side of our property. It has a small nook that's tucked into the edge of the woods that will eventually be a spot for a small cabin for our first Airbnb in the future. Following in this direction to the back corner will lead you to the opening of our woods. The moment we walked into our woods, the very first time we were there, we knew we were home. What we love about our woods is the whimsical and airy vibe. Walking throughout the entire 5 acres of woods we own, you can see the sun cascading through. Our woods will be a main source of healing for us and for the people who come to visit. There are trails already in place. We just have to clean up a few of the fallen trees. Getting out of the woods and heading back to the front of the property, we will show you where our homes will sit. Heading towards the right side of the property, my mother's home, Scout, will be situated in between the 2 hills, right in the dip. We will level the area slightly and put in a retaining wall. And right where Richard is standing, we will be putting our cabin. We'll be having the front of our cabin face outward to see the beautiful view of the mountains every day. The first time we viewed our property, the grass was over 6 feet tall and it was filled with small maple, pine, cedar, and hickory trees. You could still see the stems sticking up out of the ground from the trees. We had the whole front bush hogged, which got the property to the level it is right now. In the spring, we will do another round of bush hogging to grind down these stems before we start seeding for our grass and planting our gardens. It is beautiful to be able to see the whole ground and be able to walk across our yard. We are excited to get started on building our dream. Richard is starting to stake the points of our cabin's foundation into the ground. We don't have any tools with us during this trip, so we are using our hands, sticks, and some string to get a rough estimate. Our cabin is going to be 40 feet in length and 20 feet in width. Right now, Richard is counting by foot, width and length of our cabin to give us a rough estimate of where it would be. This orange marker right here is where the back of the cabin will stop, and we will roughly have 8 to 10 feet of a back deck that will lead straight into the woods. This way we could walk out back and right into a trail. It is such a beautiful day today, about 60 degrees out. Richard is walking around in a t-shirt at the end of January. This is the winter weather we are looking for. We're going to be finishing stringing the length and width of our cabin, and tomorrow morning we'll be meeting with the company who will be putting in our well. We made our way back to Meadow Creek Mountain Ranch, which is the lodge where we were staying, and we took a walk around to see the horses. We ended up watching a gorgeous sunset and getting to meet some of their beautiful horses and a foal. It was truly amazing to get to walk our land, explore our woods, and interact with our new friends and neighbors. We headed back into our room, went to bed for the night. Tomorrow's agenda: file for our address. Coming from New York, where everything has multiple steps and tons of paperwork, it was incredible how fast and simple it was to file for our address. In 1 hour, we had our address to our home. Next step was to put in our mailbox. The mailbox went in nice and easy. We needed a mailbox to be able to send mail to establish our residency. For now, this will work. In the spring, when we return with our tools, we will be cementing it in place. This is the last day of our trip in Tennessee. We left to head back to New York after installing our mailbox. But before we got on the road, we had to shoot off a few rounds of our shotgun. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe to follow our journey of creating our cabin from the ground up, learn with us as we grow permaculture gardens, and watch as we build our healing center in Tennessee.